been an amazing season of Entrepreneur Insider. We've met with an array of Black professionals and talked about everything from the steps before starting your business to things that you may encounter while on your business journey to how to scale your business and plan for the future. We've talked to everyone from branding specialists to process improvement strategists, virtual assistants. We've covered the gamuts between product-based services and service-based businesses. Wow, we've covered a lot and gotten a lot of value. I hope that you took great notes and shared each and every video with your community. Are you ready for our next season? Me too. Before we get to it, I want to share some of my highlights from this season with you. Thanks so much for watching. Please continue to share, support, subscribe, email me if you'd like to be featured in an upcoming episode, and I'll see you in September for season 2. What I would like to ask you is if there was one thing you could tell a prospective or an existing entrepreneur of color to help them out, like one thing you wish they knew or a piece of advice, what would you tell them?
Oh gosh. Center yourself around like-minded people.
Oh, like it.
When you're around like-minded people, that you can share ideals with, and it won't be a competition. I hate it when it feels like it's a competition between entrepreneurs. It really isn't, because what's for you is for you. What's for me is for me. There's enough for all of us. And I would say support other minority Black-owned entrepreneurs as much as you possibly can, because there's enough of the pie for all of us. So why not come together and share the resources? What may help you may help me. I don't know everything. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, I don't know everything, but I am an open book. I'm like a sponge. And so I think if more people can send yourself around like-minded people, be a sponge and learn as much as you possibly can. And try to obtain access to capital as much as you possibly can. Find out where you can do that. That is very helpful. And so that would be my advice.
Entrepreneurs are basically, there are more resources out there than we know. Do your homework. Definitely do. I would say do your homework and kind of piggyback off of that. Don't let anybody tell you no. Don't let anybody tell you no. You, as a Black entrepreneur, and even more so female, there are so many resources out there that will afford you and open up doors. That all you have to do is just ask and do the resources. One of the things that I actually found is through the SBA, the Small Business Association. There a lot of people don't know that there are added benefits for being female, being a Black female, even to where you actually live will afford you certain things, because they have something called a hub zone, and more people live in a hub zone than they know. And it's just a matter of going to the website and asking and basically answering a couple of questions, and they'll tell you if you certify for it. And by doing that, it opens up funding and grants and opportunities and so much more. It's just ask the question. Don't think that because it's in that, like, that's anyone. Ask the question and connect with people that are African American, no matter what their industry is, because you never know who they know.
I wish they knew to give themselves grace and to give others grace. I think, and we've talked about this before in the Clubhouse room for the Black Entrepreneurs Network, but I think sometimes that title of Black entrepreneur creates this expectation that may be a little higher than just the term entrepreneur. And so there's an expectation that we may perceive or assume, but there's also an expectation that our customers may perceive or assume. And sometimes they don't necessarily line up. And then I think that as a consumer, I think that we need to give our entrepreneurs grace as well. So we talked about at one point, like reviews and things like that, how we're more likely to give a negative review than a positive review. And sometimes negative reviews are warranted, but let's try to balance that out a little bit.
That's a good question. And man, I feel like just in general, we are kind of behind the curve. I love like this new like renaissance of Black ownership, right? Especially like in this digital space. But as far as like branding goes, right? And invest in your branding is important, right? I think that a lot that's something that people think that they can skip and they'll just be okay. But like, I feel like branding is a really good investment. So it kind of gets you on that right baseline to where, because how you present yourself, your first impression is going to set the tone of like subconsciously what kind of client you're going to attract. All right. So if you don't take the time to invest in your branding and you just kind of keep it to the bare minimum, guess what? You're going to have you're going to attract what you put out. It's just like that law of reciprocity, what you get out, what you put in. And I think that branding is something that we all believe in that, but we think that we can skid by on the visuals and like, and how we present ourselves. Like if you're going to a job interview, you're not going to just wear basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Right. So you don't want your branding to be the basketball shorts and the t-shirt of your company. Right. So I think that's something that we should all really look into, learn about, and really have at least a baseline understanding of like, what's the bare minimums to make my business attract who I want.
Yeah. My advice would be just do it and stop talking yourself out of it. And that's advice I would like to take myself. But that's what I would say. Like, just do it. If you have an idea, turn on your camera and just start.
Oh, great question. A couple things. If you had, I don't speak from my own personal experience. I consider to be a little bit shy by nature. Like I mentioned earlier, like to stay in the background. However, got to the point where I felt like if I stay in the background and continue to do what I'm doing, I'm giving a disservice just to myself because I'm not happy. So if you're having those feelings of struggle or conflict where you're like, there has to be more to this than this, it is. But you're only going to be able to, bring that to fruition until you decide to take the first step. So you often hear people say, just do it, take the leap. I say that, but I also say, please do your research in figuring out what you want to do, what's out there, taking the skill sets that you have and figuring out, okay, how best can my skill set serve, whatever it is I'm interested in. 9 times out of 10, there is a creative way of doing that. You just have to figure out what that is.
Oh my God. The one thing I wish entrepreneurs knew. Oh my gosh.
I know there's a lot.
There's a lot of things I want them to know, especially like, I'm going to settle this into specifically the aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners area, because I think that's very particular. I want them to know business means that you are not going to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions. That might be in my future. I am a specific case. So me telling you that it's only going to be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for you is not me saying it is based on me. It's completely different. I consider myself different. Not everyone is an exact LeBron James or anything of that nature. So I want entrepreneurs to know that you really have to be in this for like your passion. If you're not in it for your passion, you're going to experience a hump, an issue, an obstacle that does not allow you to continue.
I have 3 words for you. Go for it.
Love it.
That's it. Just go for it, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take anyway. And if you don't go for it, but you know you really want to go for it, you're about to be singing your shoulda, coulda, woulda is better than Bryant meant I ever could. Yep. So you definitely want to go for it. And also, especially as parents, we teach our children, we encourage our children that, like I tell, I talk to my baby all the time, and even my younger siblings. And I said, listen, not even the stars are, you know, that's not even like the barrier for you. You go where you want to go. If you want to go take over the world, good luck. Send me like an application for reference. I speak that into my siblings. I speak that into younger kids. I speak that into my own child, right? And so I'm also speaking that into you, whoever's listening, and you're not sure, like you're on the fence, you really want to, but you're not sure how. Go for it. Yes, you're going to make mistakes along the way. We all do. I promise. That one. It's just inevitable. But do not let your fears and your doubts paralyze you and keep you from accomplishing the absolute like brilliance that you can. If you know that you are called for this, and you know that there, even if you slightly believe, but not always, I just need a slither of hope that like just a slither of belief that I can do this, go for it.